In 3, 2, 1.
वेलकम टू एपिसोड नंबर 31 ऑफ द किंग पेयर पॉडकास्ट. आज का एपिसोड बहुत स्पेशल है. इट्स अ माइलस्टोन फॉर अस because we're headed into one of the world's biggest cricket tournament.
Called the World Cup.
They were very creative with the name. सबसे पहले तो इस वर्ल्ड कप का थोड़ा कॉन्टेक्स्ट देते हैं. दिस इज आई मीन वी हैवंट प्लेड दिस फॉर्मेट इन सो लॉन्ग, सो it's played over one day, or if it's an important match and it rains, then it's played over 2 days. Mostly it's played over one day, and that's what it's called, a one-day international. Very literal with their names.
Which is also why a run is called a run. Because
Absolutely.
you have to run.
And a boundary is called a boundary because you cross someone's boundary.
And that's where colonialism begins.
Absolutely. But that's for another episode. For now, the World Cup is 50 overs aside. So I don't think we need to go more into that. But it's happening in India, so that's a big deal. And
I don't think we need to go more into that.
that either. But yeah, what are your thoughts about India and just the general lead up to the World Cup so far?
I think just distasteful. They're doing a lot of things that are not going in their favor, like especially with regards to reputation. यानी कि पहले जय शाह की इतनी ट्विटर के ऊपर जो है वो जिल्लत हो चुकी है over the Asia Cup, and now they're refusing or at least delaying visas for the Pakistan team, which has caused disruptions in their schedule. They had to go to Dubai, but they can't have their passports because they're still in processing for the Indian visa, and they're going to have to cancel that trip and go straight to India. Perhaps a way to sabotage us once again, or maybe just to create more disruptions into our schedule. Anyways, this episode is going to be almost a 3-part series. We'll see how many parts it is. And we're going to talk about who will win this World Cup. Arham, let's start with you. Who are hot favorites and who do you think will win?
So I think let's take a look at the stats as well. Just one stat, minor stat before, which is out of the last 5 World Cups, the home team has won 4 of them, 3 of them. So and I think 3. So India won in India, then Australia won in Australia, England won in England.
Yeah.
Although I mean, arguably England barely won. So yeah, I think India are hot favorites.
Yeah.
I think for me, India are sure shot finalists, just because of how they've been playing. I think वो जो 1.5 साल पहले या 2 साल पहले उन्होंने जो strategy अपनी एक बनाई थी कि हम इस approach से खेलेंगे, they've kind of stuck to that with Dravid and Rohit leading the team, and it's starting to work really well for them. And I think they've also been very clever. अभी ऑस्ट्रेलिया के साथ उनकी series हुई है right before the World Cup, and they've decided to rest a lot of their main players, and the purpose of that was not to reveal them too early. Someone like Kuldeep, even someone like Virat or Rohit, just to not give them a chance to kind of figure them out right before the World Cup. But everybody's been playing a lot of one-day cricket in the last month to make up for all the one-day cricket they didn't end up playing over the last 4 years. Which is why I think so that's Pakistan versus India at the back. Yeah. The visa, we're right next to the visa office. In Bombay, if you didn't know that.
तुम्हें लगता है वीजा कितनी देर पहले आएंगे? तुम्हें लगता है बिल्कुल लास्ट मिनट में वो कहेंगे ठीक है आपकी वीजा अप्रूव हो गया?
I think they have to.
हफ्ता पहले, 5 दिन पहले.
No. So I think that's been cleared out because the team is set to be traveling on the 27th of September, and they'll be playing the first warm-up match on the 29th, and then the next one on 30th. But we'll come back to the winner. India sure shot finalists. I'll give 2 teams for the second finalist, which is Pakistan.
Okay.
Or
do you think a Pakistan-India final could happen?
I think it can. I think it can definitely happen, and I think a lot of people want it to happen. And my second finalist would be Australia.
Acha, not England.
Not England. I don't know why.
Why is that? Do you think Australia is a more balanced side?
Australia is a really good side. I think they've got. I think they're covered in every department as well. They have one good spinner, Zampa mein, but he's not great. He's good, but he's gotten experience now, and their batting is really set. Their batting is really good. Their lower order rating is really good.
But do you think एक spinner के साथ और कौन है spinners? I think main तो Zampa ही है.
Zampa ही है. I don't know Zampa के साथ कौन है. I think maybe it's like
हमारे वाले
Agar or something.
Yeah, that's true.
But they have a good bowling lineup, so and batting lineup. I think their batting is what's going to propel them there to like perhaps a final spot. England, I don't know. I just don't feel it, and I think feelings matter right now. About who's going to win the World Cup. What are your feelings?
Yeah, I don't want Jay Shah's team to win the World Cup.
I don't want them to win. Absolutely, I want Pakistan to beat them in the final.
और पता है एक लेकिन ये चीज हमेशा ये कि इंडिया चोक कर जाती है. ये हमें पता है.
In finals against
के अंदर
us.
भी उन्होंने किया था. हमारे खिलाफ उनका रिकॉर्ड अच्छा रहा. So let's hope that we don't face them in a semi or something. But I do think that it's going to be hot favorites barely ever win. Like unless it was Australia of the
Especially
90s, early 2000s. I don't think your hot favorites कभी भी जीते हैं कोई tournament. At least the recent World Cups. Like I never thought कि England could win. Like I don't know.
I mean, everybody thought England would win. No.
पता नहीं. I mean, I don't know.
I think it's a hot favorite versus a team nobody really thought would be there in the final.
New Zealand.
Could be New Zealand. I actually think New Zealand has a good
अच्छा
chance.
लोगों ने न्यूजीलैंड के बारे में भी काफी कहा. I was reading like random Quora posts and like what people were thinking, comments, you know, like really random stuff, and people said that New Zealand and Australia are once again hot favorites as well. I mean, naturally after India.
I want to take this opportunity to pull out, and I think timely pull out is
that never works.
Yeah, well, let's see. Australia, I would pull out, and I would put back New Zealand in as the second finalist, along with Pakistan.
So, तो तुम्हें क्या लगता है कि
they're my wild card entry?
न्यूजीलैंड और पाकिस्तान versus India.
India, yeah.
Interesting. हाँ, पाकिस्तान बहुत अच्छा परफॉर्म कर सकती है. They have the conditions advantage as well.
More than that,
like
we have the failure behind us. So like we're rock bottom right now after being the worst team in the Asia Cup, after Bangladesh.
Combination हमें अभी भी set करना पड़ेगा. That's like a problem for us.
Yeah.
Because Naseem is out, and I don't see a third bowler coming in. Like I mean, fitting in that well, at least as well as Naseem would. तो if Babar takes the approach of कि अच्छा बस runs रोकने और फिर मेरे 2 wicket taking bowlers हैं, तो I don't think that will cut it. फिर हमारे एक spinner भी चल नहीं रहा. And I don't know how Hassan Ali performs, what kind of form he's in. Hassan Ali, as Shoaib Akhtar would call him, from the PDB, the program. Mohammad Asif's take also was कि ये PDB से ही है, from the program. Came in through a lobby, but let's not go into that. I think Pakistan and India are favorites for sure. Australia has a knack of rising up to these occasions. And
I mean, the 21 World Cup was an example. Like they were nobody really.
Yeah. They also have considerable experience in India, don't they?
Yeah.
A lot of their players play.
And they're playing 3 ODIs right before the World Cup, which is.
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, I think they're used to the conditions. So they're in India, right?
Yeah.
This is happening in India. So yeah, I think they'll be acclimatized to the weather and to the conditions and to their combination also. Honestly, अभी rain out हो गया मेरा ख्याल है. ये जो अभी वाला था, बारिश हो रही थी इंदौर के अंदर.
But it's back, so India are 175 for 1.
Okay.
Well.
I mean, India's like really on a roll here. What about unlucky teams? Teams that have always been favorites or have shown to be favorites during the progression of the tournament, and then suddenly they've choked. South Africa comes to mind.
Glaring example.
Yeah.
New Zealand is the second one. I think they've made a lot of like if we go back from 92 से हम शुरू करें, because that's when kind of ODI had a bit of shift. They were in semi-final. They had lost to us 96. I actually don't know where they got in 96, but I know they didn't get to the final.
No.
They got to the semis in 99.
Yes.
Yeah. In 2003.
2003 में finals.
There you go. Like they've always just managed. 2007, I don't know where they were. New Zealand.
नहीं, New Zealand finals में India थी Australia के खिलाफ. But I agree. Yeah, New Zealand has been a team that has been superbly unlucky. Like South Africa का तो dip भी आया था ना in their like you know quality of cricket and the players, but New Zealand never faced that dip.
Yeah, it's been like very.
They've been like number 3, number 4.
Like they haven't been great, but they've been
above average as a team.
Yeah.
So here's my.
But then even in the 2011 World Cup in India, they made it to the semis, where they kind of just lost to Sri Lanka.
Yeah,
Sri
I think so.
They lost.
So here's my thesis. In this paper, I will argue that to win a World Cup, you need not only a very good team, but you need a very good captain. And right now, neither India nor Pakistan, with
That's
all
true.
due respect,
neither has a good captain.
Has a good captain.
Yeah.
So which team do you think has a good captain? Like someone like Owen Morgan, or
Morgan's not the captain anymore.
Or someone like Dhoni, right? Someone who takes your team to the finals.
I think what's good about this World Cup is that a lot of the captains have been playing consistently. I mean, Rohit has been there for a while. He's seen tournament failure, really bad tournament failure, worse than Babar Azam has, to be honest. I think we don't acknowledge that. Babar has had a very successful, I think Asia Cup nikal ke he's done really well. We made an Asia Cup final, we made a T20 World Cup semi-final, we made a final the next year. So it's been quite decent in terms of getting there, but it's just the finishing which he's... And it's not him, it's just the entire team
the rest
kind
of the team
chokes
as well.
there.
Yeah.
So maybe we're the next chokers, you know.
In ODIs, Babar Azam's captaincy record is 21 matches. He's won 13 of them. Lost only 7 and drew 1 match. I don't know how you're supposed to
drawing the match.
Yeah. And that he has a win percentage of 64.28. So he wins considerably more matches.
But you know, then again, the issue is who has he been playing? Like he's played Australia, he's played New Zealand, hasn't played England in a one-day series as far as I know.
Yeah.
So these stats do tell something. We beat Australia, that was great. We lost to New Zealand.
Yeah.
So series win के लिहाज से आप देखिए we've kind of lost crunch moments.
Interesting. India से तो खैर हम अभी तक 7 matches हारे हैं. We've lost all 7, and do you think we'll be able to break that curse?
So we'll at least be facing them once at Ahmedabad.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's just such a big match to call. Like it's hard to say. I would want Pakistan to win, and I think the pressure will be on India, not just. I mean, 120,000 people will be there, and
wow.
I don't know. Sometimes I do like go into my head and what would it be like to
be there,
chanted by 120,000 Indian fans,
booed
I can imagine, or booed by them.
Yeah.
Like imagine an entire stadium of 120,000 silent.
Wow.
After your favorite player gets knocked out. So it's going to be very emotional for everybody.
There are some interesting stats that I've ended up stumbling upon. We've actually performed really bad against India. Naturally, we have a 0% win rate. But against England, we actually have a 55% win rate, which means that we've actually won slightly more matches than
we beat England in the last World Cup. They were the champions. We beat New Zealand as well.
New Zealand, we have a very good record. We're almost winning 3/4 of the matches, like 77%. Yeah.
South Africa somehow has.
We've won all the matches against Sri Lanka.
Solid.
And we've actually lost more to South Africa for some reason. And
one stat I hate there is West Indies, because they fucked up our entire World Cup campaign last year.
We've lost 11 matches. We've lost 8 matches out of 11 to West Indies. And of course this includes the golden era, but I mean even after that...
No, after that we lost. In 2019 World Cup we lost, and we lost so bad. I think we were 150 all out.
Yes.
It's not even been, it's like the same pattern it kept repeating. It's just they just come and bowl bouncers and everybody loses their wicket.
Yeah.
It's quite embarrassing honestly when West Indies plays us. I remember in the 2016 World Cup or 2014 World Cup, either one, we were playing West Indies in a virtual, I think it was a semi-final, a virtual semi-final.
Okay.
Like quarter-final. and yeah, we just completely, our batting crumbled in front of Santo.
Yeah, some random वो Cottrell भी आ गया था यार.
Cottrell was in 2019.
Yeah. So teams to look out for, I think Australia, West Indies, India. For Pakistan.
For us, it's also Afghanistan. For us, it's also.
We've actually only played one match, ODI match. I do think in the longer format.
And you saw that match
of the game. I actually did not.
It was a fucking crazy match. We just won.
लेकिन मैं ये कहने लगा था कि in the longer format of the game, it's possible that we end up balancing out and showing that we're the better team. In shorter formats, it's difficult to do that, right?
We just had a three ODI series with Afghanistan.
How did that go?
So Naseem had to hit 14 off the last over or something.
Achha, there is a similarity between West Indies and Afghanistan as teams. They're really unpredictable, and I think they throw us off our balance somehow.
Yeah, because like we're supposed to be unpredictable.
हमें लगता है कि हमें भी उस तरह ही खेलना पड़ेगा match, right? Like we can't secure. I don't know. We can't secure a comprehensive win against them just because they're doing weird shit. I think the match somehow becomes very awkward.
It's an awkward encounter.
I don't know what happened. India के खिलाफ तो हम हारते हैं.
One of those weird handshakes, you know, where you just like.
Yeah. Beautiful.
That's what it's like.
Yeah.
I think the rest is fine. The Netherlands have a tendency to kind of pull off some victory against South Africa, especially when it comes to us having to qualify. Let's see. I think the real question is also how will South Africa aid us in getting through to the semis this time, as they always do. Whether it's losing or winning, even getting rained out. So yeah, I think the tournament is going to be fucking great. I mean, Gautam Gambhir, as much of a
surprised
RSS supporter and extremist he is, has bowed down to the king himself, Babar Azam, and said that he can light this World Cup on fire when he was asked.
I do think he just didn't want to say Kohli.
You know, that's entirely possible. That is entirely possible because he did just flip off some people during the IPL.
Kohli se phata ho gaya tha na uska.
He flipped off people in the crowd who were chanting Kohli when he was. Okay, so this was during the Asia Cup actually. So वो अपनी commentary stint करके वापस जा रहा था.
अच्छा एशिया कप में भी फटा.
नहीं. He was walking back after doing commentary.
Yeah.
Into the stadium, and the crowd around him started chanting Kohli, and he flipped them off. There's a video of it. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So maybe he just didn't want to say Kohli.
Okay, key players to look out for. Batsmen.
Let's start with the batters. Babar Azam, definitely. This is also David Warner's final World Cup. So I think he's someone to look out for. But more than that, I think in Australia I'm interested to see Cameron Green. England में it's Joss Butler has a lot of experience IPL के through playing in England. India, England की bowling में देखना चाहता हूँ. England की bowling भी बहुत
okay, so I think Kohli just has a statistically better record at the World Cup than Babar Azam. I only remember one good knock that Babar played against New Zealand, 101 not out.
Yeah.
That was beautiful, but a lot of people have criticized Babar for not winning the match. It was the same criticism that was directed towards someone like Tendulkar, who was really good at scoring individual runs, contributing to the team, but really bad in run situations. And Babar somehow seems to follow that pattern. Virat, on the other hand, is someone who can win you the match from anywhere. We've seen that so many times, especially against Pakistan. And I think that Virat is definitely someone to look out for. I would still rate him higher than Babar, as Wasim Akram did actually. I don't know if you saw one of those questions about, in one of the World Cup montages this time around, he was asked who you would rate higher right now, and he said Kohli. And he said obviously because he gets money from India. No. Obviously because he has so much under his belt that you can't really say that Kohli is not number one.
Even he just has way too many wins. Like,
और recent form भी अच्छी है उसकी तो.
Yeah.
There's no
his
reason to say
ability
that.
to attack and his versatility as a player. He can switch on and he can really, really hurt you.
Yes.
Babar, I don't think has that ability yet.
Well,
but he will.
Us tarah se. Like he's really good at scoring. Yeah, he can.
Of course he can.
On his day, he can, and he just needs to figure out a way to have more of those days.
Yeah.
Virat Kohli almost seems to do it on whim. He just does it whenever he wants to, whenever the situation demands.
Yeah. Mark Ward is someone I was looking forward to.
For the bowlers, I think it's Stark once again.
Stark is the best when it comes to, and he's close to breaking McGrath's record as well.
Really?
With ODI wickets, he's not far.
Shaheen, obviously. I think the two left armers are the hot favourites. Mark Wood for his speed, Siraj also quite fast, brilliant. Bumrah. India has a lot of good pacers this time around. And naturally with all-rounders, I think Pandya has somewhat risen to the occasion right now.
I think
Stokes is always...
He's brilliant, and Stokes, both these are the top all-rounders in the world right now.
Yes.
Fantastic.
The England squad looks really good right now. Yeah. You have Joss Butler, you have Moeen Ali, you have Bairstow, you have Harry Brook, you have Sam Curran, you have Livingstone, Milan, Adil Rashid. So they have two spinners with Moeen Ali and Adil Rashid. They have Joe Root, Ben Stokes, Topley, Willie, Mark Wood and Chris Wokes. That's a really experienced and well-balanced squad. And the Australia squad is Pat Cummins, Steve Smith, Carey, Josh Inglis, Sean Abbott, Ashton Agar, Cam Green, Josh Hazelwood. I mean, they still have...
Marsh is brilliant too,
they still have Hazelwood, Stark, Sean Abbott even has been bowling really well with the Sheffield Shield stints that he's been doing.
Rest in peace.
And then India is Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Hardik Pandya, Shubman Gill, Shreyas Iyer, KL Rahul.
Yeah,
I mean they have
KL Rahul finally got into some runs.
Siraj, Bumrah, Kuldeep is just absolutely out of this world, and maybe they play Shami too. Akshar Patel is another spinner they have. They have Sky, and Sky is right now on the bench. So I mean,
Sky
think
is
about that.
Sky hasn't kind of performed yet. Now, and there's some players who are playing today who aren't even in the World Cup squad. Gaikwad is not in the World Cup squad, and he's playing today against Australia. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I feel like when it comes to having a good think tank, which is preparing for the future, preparing players for the future, I think they're doing really well. Pakistan, unfortunately, hasn't done well. Though, honestly, I see India getting to the final and perhaps even winning it. But the other team I'll have to say is probably Pakistan, because they're also a very strong team, have a very strong seam attack, strong batting.
Acclimatized to the conditions.
I think.
Although maybe not, because a lot of people have said that. I mean, how many people from our squad have been to India? I think only one.
They haven't, but like it's similar kind of wickets, it's similar kind of weather.
It's different also because you might be expecting similarity and there might be differences.
So
that's what throws you off.
In the words of Rashid, he said Indian pitches offer true batting conditions, which is, ball phasti nahi hai, सीधी aati hai.
Yes.
It's something our batsmen are good, are kind of adept to. They're used to and they play well on. Which is why to some extent they can play spin well as well. Certain bowlers they can't. Kuldeep, for example, they can't, but generally spin they can handle.
But this is a very young squad.
And I
no
think
one
that's
in this
good.
team has had more than 10 years of international experience.
And for many of them, it's their first World Cup as well, ODI World Cup. I mean, Wasim hasn't played ODI World Cup. Nawaz is the only one who's.
Kab gaya tha wo? I don't remember.
He went. I think I'm not sure. 16 World Cup. T20 World Cup.
Okay, Wasim Junior, Salman Agha, Saud Shakil, Osama Mir, and Abdullah Shafiq, all are playing the World Cup for the first time. What about Imam? Imam was there, right? Has Iftikhar played an ODI World Cup before?
No, he hasn't.
Iftikhar has not. Haris has.
Haris Sohail? No, he hasn't.
Haris Rauf.
Haris Rauf hasn't.
Has not.
No.
And then you have Babar Shadab, Rizwan.
Rizwan hasn't either, actually.
Rizwan hasn't.
He wasn't in the
he was Sarfraz though. So. So this will be a first. In the words of Inzamam ul Haq, the great cricketer of our generation.
Is that what he was?
He was really great, yeah.
A cricketer?
Yeah. The World Cup is the most important event in any cricketer's life, and I want to congratulate la 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 la. We were forced to make one change because of an unfortunate injury to Naseem Shah. We had a few injury scares in the recent Asia Cup, but I am glad to share that all players are fully fit. I have a firm belief that this squad can bring back the World Cup trophy to Pakistan and make the whole nation proud with their incredible performances.
Coming from someone who doesn't look
won the World Cup
produced at all.
No, I mean he was speaking in the press conference, so I'm assuming this is just like a
ChatGPT
or translated by someone really capable at the BCB. As we know. But I mean, coming from someone who's won the World Cup himself, who has also been disgraced at the World Cup at the end of his career, it does matter a lot. I'm sure he has a lot of insight into how things work, the kind of pressure you have, and who are our coaches? What is our staff?
So Grant Bradburn is our coach. Then we have Mickey Arthur, who will be joining the team on the 30th as team director. Everyone else is pretty much the same. Rehan will be the team manager, analyst.
Sean Tate है हमारे साथ.
Sean Tate हमारे साथ नहीं है. Morne Morkel is our bowling
coach.
Morne
Morkel, correct.
And I think the media manager Essen Kharnagi will also be there with the team.
Morne has had World Cup experience, right?
Oh yeah.
I think 2 खेले हैं उसने.
Morne is that.
So he's someone who can really help you out. Mickey Arthur is someone who can really help you out. So you also have to seek these resources. I hope Babar does. I hope the rest of the team also sort of relies on them to, ask for help, especially in terms of pressure situations. Even mentally, I think, like when you're there and you don't understand. Especially India will be difficult, right? Like going to India and playing the World Cup for a Pakistani player is always a pressure situation. Especially with the tense political situations, especially with the visa situation, they need to learn how to tune out those voices, how to find their own bubble, and how to start to focus. And I hope this experienced staff could help them do that.
Yeah, it's like the last World Cup, we needed to have a COVID protection bubble, sort of, but this time it's just a
emotional protection
bubble, and that's so important.
Yes.
I think the team is traveling with a psychologist as well, or someone. I don't know.
Okay.
They need to.
Okay.
I mean, an advertisement has been out for a while for a sports psychologist.
Achha.
So
wow.
I don't know what the fuck's going on there. That end, but they really need one. It's going to be a really tough World Cup. I think we'll get a lot of love from there as well. I'm sure they will.
Obviously.
But I think the Jay Shahs is going to be a bitch about it.
Yeah.
Son of Amit Shah.
Son of.
Yeah.
Okay, so who will win the World Cup?
India versus Pakistan.
You'll just have to say one.
Versus New Zealand.
Who will win the World Cup?
You know what? I
Arham
just go
Sarfraz.
New Zealand. Are going to lift the cup.
Pakistan are going to lift the World Cup.
New Zealand.
Okay, we'll see you with another episode of the King Pair. Again, Hassan Ali. Drop in the comments yourself. Who you think will win the World Cup?
Drop in the comments yourself. Yourself.
Again.
Who is going to win the World Cup?